those of you that aren't familiar with Android TV, it's a very small device, this one here, and I have one that will be giving away later, and letting people play with some more as well. Okay. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. And we got this one here.
Is that Mars? No, I mean it looks
So again, before we start, food, drinks, anybody come on up and get it. Otherwise, I'm gonna get like round 3. Anybody?
Yeah.
Is it good? All right. So I think we're good. Reed, you want to come up?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay.
Let me, okay, I don't need to go through this stuff because
You want to?
let me just get to this part because I'll download the app first. Where's the, how do you present this thing now?
You know what? I think it's in.
It's in Dropbox right now.
Did I download it?
You might be able to do
I think I did. You know what? Hold on.
in the top right.
Oh yeah. I already have it open.
Ooh. Okay, thanks.
So you're in presenter mode. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So, I'm Reed, I work for Discovery Digital Networks, and let me see if I can get this thing going. So, I'm just gonna demo this app that I built at the hackathon. Let's see if I can do it. This one. One of the apps that, one of the networks that we have at Discovery is called Seeker. It's got like adventure, all kinds of adventure things, thrill seeking. Let me open this up. So I built this at the hackathon at USC. It's pretty much me and another guy that I met there. I thought it'd be cool to just put this up on the screen. This is mainly like a 10-foot experience. One thing about 10 feet is that you're watching TV usually from 10 feet and having really big pictures up there. Seems like a good candidate for all kinds of stuff, but so I'm using their Google's lean-back library. It's specific for Android TV, and they have a lot of this framework built out for you all nicely. You can add custom animations, but I'm using most of the default stuff. Let me see, I'm just trying to find something that's not too grotesque. Maybe something like this. So, all this stuff is free right now, but they have things for renting it and owning it if you want to buy it. We'll just play a video so you can see what it looks like. Is there sound on here, Matt? Or? Okay. Well, there would be sound, and
I don't know if there is. You know what? Hold on. You have to.
sorry guys.
What's that?
Oh, you guys set up the HDMI?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll just talk about it. So, using the lean-back library was actually pretty straightforward. It's really well documented. It's not something that's completely brand new at the time. Going to these hackathons is great to learn from people who made this stuff, and you can ask them a lot of questions. Setting up the Android device, the AGT1, was relatively simple, except for that you need to make sure that it's up to date with the newest frameworks. All the newest code is there.
I'm totally wrong. It's going out through there anyways. We can't control it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's all good. So sorry to get sidetracked. But anyway, this is most of the app right here. A lot of this stuff is built in using the lean-back library, like I said. It's something to just to build in a day, maybe 2 days actually. I cleaned it up a little bit. But just want to talk quickly about some other experience I've had. I worked with Google on Chromecast, Amazon with Fire TV, and now with Android's ADT1. Chromecast, it was very difficult in the beginning because it was, I think, Netflix and Discovery and maybe a couple other companies were working on this Chromecast device. It wasn't even called Chromecast at the time, and there was a pre-beta library. not really well documented. It's kind of a moving target. They're changing things as you're working on it. They switched everything out to work on this media router library and eventually moved into creating their own CAS companion library, which I think a lot of companies are using because it's a lot easier to work with. The next thing that I was working with was the Amazon Fire TV before it was released also. It's running a forked version of Jelly Bean. They pretty much have all their Amazon animations. It's using something like Leanback, but I wouldn't say it as refined. They disabled the GPS and touchscreen functions for strictly this Fire TV OS. And the last bit that I worked on recently was this Android TV using Android L. I didn't really have a lot of experience working with Android L since it's not on a lot of devices. The Leanback library was super easy to use, and it supports CAS functionality, so I know controlling the ADT1 with another app, they have this remote control app, will work with other applications you make that support CAS. So, let me see if there's anything else. The challenges on working on new stuff is that you have to read through all the documentation. It takes a long time to get things going, but I kind of just like to hack on it and then get stuck on things, and you look at the documentation, figure it out. A lot of trial and error. The easy parts working with this was the library is well written. It's documented really well. There's sample code. As long as you're not like the first people to work on it, I think it's super easy, but you know, when it's not available, Stack Overflow is almost useless on that. And the last one is questions. So if there's anyone have any questions on working with any of this stuff.
So you got a beautiful app. What are you doing with it?
I'm gonna polish it up. There's some things that I know are buggy with it. I didn't want to just like show that, but you know, I know that there is some things. I'm working on a couple other projects at the same time, but I think this one will come out sometime in the next few weeks, I'd say. I don't want to say that, but Discovery will talk for themselves.
Do you host the video on your?
These videos are being hosted, I forget where, but we have our own CDN, so. Yeah.
So is there an easy way between all the different versions of the SDK, the Leanback libraries, and the versions of the device that come out? Is there an easy way to get all of these, set up correctly? I've tried it so many times, and every time something else comes in.
Yeah, it was, even at the time when I was working on it, there was updates being pushed out. It's just, I think, growing pains with that. The Leanback library, pretty much, from my understanding, only works with Android L, so you won't have to deal with any of the legacy stuff. But it seems there's only like the Nexus player and the new Android TV, but I think everything will be running the newest version of Android, so it'll be easier to develop on.
Are you?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm a complete alien in this room, you know, I arrived late.
No worries.
So do you primarily only do Android apps? You do, I mean, is that is part of your? And also second question.
Sure.
What's your general lead time for developing an app?
Okay, the first one was, well, I worked on Android primarily. That's one of my core background. I've worked on iOS also, developing their apps, but I don't know. I'm in Google, so I like Android better.
We're Android people, just asking.
Sure. And the second one was the lead time. I think it's, it depends on the complexity of the app. Some of the other apps that we've built require real-time streaming. Sometimes it's something brand new like Chromecast that's not really documented at all, so, or they're changing it, and you're working on really cool stuff, and they're really helpful with that, but it's just difficult to chase that moving target. So sorry, I couldn't really give you a time on that.
Are you supporting Android phones?
Oh yeah, there's Android phones too. This is just we already had those apps and everything built out. It's just Hacklon is an Android TV thing, so try to create a quick Android TV app.
Is there any time frame for each video?
What's that?
There's a maximum time frame for each video.
They're usually pretty small. These are all created in-house, so Discovery creates their all online short-form content. A lot of things are on Discovery. I don't think a lot of people know, but like Epic Mealtime, I don't know if anyone remember that. That was a Discovery owned property. So we built them all in house. They're about 3 to maybe the longest, maybe 10 minutes long, but depends on the different network. Like some of the science stuff, like dinosaurs will be like an hour long. But
Can you go through, so you have an app, so I'm.
Sure.
I'm like, nothing.
Okay.
So I'm looking at a big screen here, I'm hearing app. I just got, this phone within the last year to start experiencing apps.
Okay.
I don't own a TV right now.
Gotcha.
So,
How would
the idea is that with Chromecast or something, you'll be able to download it and broadcast on a TV or anywhere on your phone, or explain
Yeah,
to me
there's
what the
two
process
ways.
is and how somebody would learn about your product. and-
Sure. There's 2 ways to do it. One is if you download our app, it'll be Chromecast functionality in there, and you need to buy a Chromecast device, plug it into your TV, and then with the app, we'll just be flinging videos to the screen, and so you'll see just the videos playing here.
So would I have a computer that I'm downloading?
Just on your phone, so it'd just be like there'd be like a
Okay,
little,
from here it'll broadcast.
yeah, from here it'll just throw it onto this Chromecast, and then the Chromecast will take it from there and download
Okay.
the video and display it
Okay,
here.
so the device will then, okay.
Right, so basically you're turning your phone into a remote, essentially. And then-
Hardware, that you need the hardware to make your app.
Right.
Okay.
And another one is just buying into these devices, Amazon Fire TV streaming, this Android TV also. You would just download the app directly onto these over-the-top boxes, so, yeah. Oh, sorry,
Okay, so, well, as I understood
sure.
Chromecast
And I
before,
go by fast.
was if I have a tablet,
Uh-huh.
and I, say I bring up a YouTube video, if I have Chromecast, I can do it here, and it not only shows here, but shows on the screen.
It'll pretty much just show on this big screen.
Yeah,
so.
but you're doing more than that. right?
On this one, it's running its own thing completely independent of the phone. The phone is basically just a remote, like.
Yeah, the
Right.
phone has become a remote, not just showing what's on here to there.
Right, it's
Okay.
just like right now, I should have disconnected. Right, I would be able to control it, instead of using this control pad, you'd use
Okay.
this.
So from our viewpoint, since we're not seeing what you're doing there,
Yeah, sure.
we wouldn't know the difference, right?
Well, this experience is different here versus the Chromecast one. I think it's harder to explain, but I think if you played around with it, this is more immersive than just the Chromecast, looking little thing here.
I mean, if you had a tablet and had this showing up as the app,
Well, it wouldn't look like this because I think, on the tablet it's only such a small screen, so it's not gonna look as nice as this big TV. So you try to squeeze everything into this small screen.
Okay.
It looks kind of bad, which is I think one of the reasons why all these companies are doing this. Sorry, is that good?
okay, thank you.
Beautiful.
So, as I understand, you've really created an interface for selecting various streams, right? Is that what you've done?
Mhm.
This is so it's essentially modifying something like Chromecast to function like an Apple TV, which has a variety of displays. Just that so is your application the management of the display, is that what it is?
I think that would be a good way of putting it. It's taking advantage of the framework that Google's provided and then filling it in with my own content. So it's kind of like a medium to display content.
And where's that content coming from?
This
In the
comes from
case of,
CDNs, different, I'm not 100% sure exactly where they're stored, but in the cloud, basically.
Okay. And then like if I was doing it with a tablet I was mentioning, I know I'm connected to a Wi-Fi to my tablet, and it's being sent over here. But when I'm using this as a remote, how is that
Well,
content getting to your screen?
These Chromecast devices and the Android TV have their own, basically, Wi-Fi, so they're.
Because the Chromecast is also
So,
the Wi-Fi.
We had a talk on the Chromecast in December, and we can get that slide deck
Oh, yeah.
from someone, a software engineer on the Chromecast team.
No, you just answered the.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so people are really interested in Chromecast, we can get you that slide deck, we'll upload it to today's meetup as well.
Good.
It was a great talk, it was right here in the tree.
I got you.
There were 2 other questions in the back, and one, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna clarify something, some people seem to be misunderstanding, so this is the Android TV app that you're showing right here, right?
right?
Correct.
So this is not a Chromecast.
Right, right.
So I just wanted to clarify,
Okay.
the Chromecast app would probably be more like what you guys are used to seeing from Chromecast, which is that you have the interface on your phone and you only see the content on the screen,
Right.
rather than seeing this whole interface.
Thank you, Mark's friend. And, okay.
So as far as developing for Android TV, what would you say is the usual speed bump to creating an
I
app?
think just setting up the environment is the
That's
hardest
it?
for me, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of bumpy in the beginning, but everyone was really nice and helped out a lot, so once you get it going, I think you're just cranking along and it's a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out why this doesn't load or why there's this weird error message.
So that's usual development.
Just usual stuff, yeah. So I mean, I think it was good overall. Yeah. Oh.
And is there a big learning curve if you just say develop some Java apps or maybe Android apps before? Do you think it's
You know, it depends on your experience with Android, I think. If you do, like, there's no GPS and things like that, depends if you're really into that kind of stuff, then maybe some of the libraries and SDKs are a little bit different, but not being touchscreen too, you're eliminating a lot of that stuff, but really leverage the libraries that are available to you.
You mentioned hackathons earlier. Are you guys doing the hackathons here or?
So we did another hackathon in January already at USC. Yeah.
And let's see.
So that was the first one, and then I finished it up with our own internal discovery hackathon.
And so is it just, I mean, how did people find out about?
That one we posted to the meetup page, and then there was also a lot of advertising through USC.
Okay.
It was co-sponsored by
It was very well attended.
Yeah. So we have more presentations. We
Yeah.
gotta-
Sorry. That's good. So I just want to thank Google
Take it away.
Alright. Hey everybody, my name is Philip. I'm just gonna tell you a quick story about what the what we did at the hackathon. You know, how the day went. So the day started off pretty well. Let me tell you a story. It was a cool morning on 7th of February when I woke up thinking, why the hell am I awake so early on a Saturday just to go basically work a full day?
For free.
For free, exactly. Actually, not for free. I had to pay to go work.
Yeah, right.
So we get there and there are, you can see, you know, monitors and Android TVs just lining tables. There was so much there. It was crazy. And then they had to set them all up because, of course, they've been sitting in boxes for months and they haven't gotten the latest updates. So we got to sit there and, you know, Matt and everyone ran around and clicked buttons and tried to get everything connected. Too much Bluetooth in the room. But actually, this wasn't the beginning of the hackathon. The beginning actually started, for me at least, a few days before when I tried to set up Android Studio. I'm not an Android developer, I'm a hobbyist at best for Android. So I had to go install Android Studio. And because for some reason I like to make things difficult for myself, I switched over to my Linux partition, and of course that comes with its own difficulties. Issues everywhere, and then a few hours later, after reading a lot, you finally get to a place where you can at least load. Start a project. It's simple once you get to this point, and the instructions are always way easier than it actually ends up being. So we finally get there. I got my studio ready. So we go to the hackathon, and so once everything starts up at the hackathon, these guys are here to give us give us a couple talks about Android, and why Android TV is the wave of the future. I'm really bad with names, so I don't remember any of their names. Do you guys remember
The manual,
Nice thing on the right,
manual
orange in the
jack.
middle, and this semi-famous guy on the left.
Yeah.
I don't remember the famous guy.
Okay, so from left to right, he gave us a good talk on why Android TV is so important, why we should be really considering TV and the 10-foot experience for, you know, yeah, he partied with Bob Dylan, he had some good stories. But why it's so important and why, you know, we should monetize that and why we should care as developers.
What did he say?
You should care. That's what I said.
What was his point though?
Basically, more and more content is flowing towards media, and people want to stream that on their TV. He had some data from past companies he worked on or with before, and basically just showing that, you know, there's a huge spike in TV use and people streaming things, like YouTube use has gone crazy. And Netflix, that was a big one. So why you want to use Android TV? And both of these guys on the right, I think, are developer advocates for Google. They work for Google. I think he gave us a quick introduction on, you know, thanks for coming. This is great. And what is his name again?
Crispy.
Crispy. I knew it was something weird. I was like happy or. So Crispy, the guy with the amazing beard, he gave us a talk on the lean-back library in general, like what it is and why we should care about it and use it. It basically makes things so much easier for developers, because working on a screen like this, you're not, you know, you can't touch your screen. It's not going to do anything. Just leave marks. So it's the lean-back library gives us easy tools to use to build a 10-foot viewing experience. It's very important. Yes.
Is that Nolan Bushveld by chance?
It could be. I can
Well,
I can try to look it up.
No, there's a reason. If it is,
Yeah.
Nolan started Atari.
It's Chuck E. Cheese.
And he is now backing some of the biggest education content.
Okay.
I mean, look,
This guy's a professor at USC.
oh no.
He did seem like a professor.
Yeah, I think he had an office like right down the hall.
But you can look it up. We'll get the answer later. Okay. So after the discussions, we went to team forming, and I'm going to tell you guys how to form a team at Hackathon. First, you stand in one place. You don't move because they can't see you if you don't move. Everyone's standing in a group. It's really awkward. Of course, you're gonna have to move. You're a person. You make mistakes. So you accidentally make eye contact with someone. It happens, and in response, you get an awkward stare, and you're just kind of standing there. What do you do? So after a couple seconds, you realize I'm forgetting something. Social interaction. Hello. And then you find the mistake. So you release that far. You've said, you've vocalized, and then you've heard that humans bond over physical contact. So you just see your hand go out slowly. You don't know why, but it happens. And then the really crucial part, you have to express that you want to be on a team somehow. Here's a sample sentence. You're going to be on a team. It usually works. We're going to assume it does. And then you do it a couple more times. It's really weird trying to meet people and just join a random team. You don't know anything about the background. You don't know if they can code. You don't know if they're just a homeless guy that walked in. It's USC. But it worked out. It was good. Okay, so now you have your team. You let's say you're going there and no one has an idea. You have to brainstorm. it's best if someone has a great idea, you all get behind it, because it works, but that's not how my team works at least. So it was a one-day event. We had up to 6 hours to build an entire app from scratch. That doesn't leave much, so you grab any idea you have and run with it. We had Social Saver. It's a screensaver basically that plays a slideshow of all of your social media. So it'll grab all your pictures from Picasa, from Instagram, from Facebook, and just kind of mash them all into one screensaver. Seems like a good idea. So that's the one we went with. So we had our idea, and then we started, and we had breakfast. Breakfast was cool, pastries, general, coffee was good. So we get back to hacking. First things you have to do when you just come up with a random idea, you have to define your ideas. We only had 6 hours, so we had to just cut everything we had to. We said we wanted to do all media. That would be great, but you know what? It's not a big deal if we can't pull in someone's videos from Facebook. Just cut it off. And splitting responsibilities. You've just met 3 different people. You don't really know exactly what you can do, so you have to figure out, okay, I can do API integrations, you can do some UI, and someone else can do back-end data work. Just real quick, you do this, I'll do that. Hopefully it all works out. So let's see, we had breakfast at like 10, team forming, some discussions, and some quick brainstorming, and then we get to lunch. Our very own Paul was outside hacking some burritos for us. But we were given free lunch from was it Freebirds?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
You didn't pay for it though.
All right. We paid $20 for breakfast and lunch and pizza later. So remember, 6 hours, have to get back in. You eat as fast as you can, you get back, and hacking intensifies. Points if you know where this is from.
So I don't know if you're gonna talk about this later, but how did your team split up the?
I was the API integrations guy. We had another guy who knows a lot about Android development. He basically set up the app, and then we all kind of plug stuff into it. And honestly, we didn't get that far. So another guy was trying to work on the UI stuff, but I didn't include any screenshots of the app because it is embarrassing. So sorry if you're hoping for that.
It's Johnny Lee Miller.
Oh, okay.
He's English.
I forget. He's been in something more recently, I feel. This is from Hackers. Trust me.
What's it called? Hack the planet.
Yes, Hack the Planet, exactly. Taking now to Gibson. Alright, so that was what we wanted to be like. This is what we actually were like. Just a bunch of pasty people sitting around computers trying to understand what we're doing. Yeah, there was some chatting. It gets loud in there. There's so much going on. A lot of people were walking around, just helping people out. This is Crispy again, awesome beard. Answering questions, telling you, I have this problem with Android. I don't know what I'm doing here. Can you please tell me what I'm doing wrong? A lot of guys from Victorious were there. They were a sponsor, so they were there walking around. It was a very helpful experience. I'm glad they were there to do that. All right. So once everyone's finished at about, I think, 5 o'clock or something, finished, they start walking around and judging everyone. And a lot of people had some pretty good apps, but no matter how polished your app is, it's really nerve-wracking to be judged like this. And I forget this guy's name. Freddie Wong, yeah. Famous YouTube guy came by to be a judge. And here's me trying to explain why my app, it doesn't do anything. It's worth consideration against all these other ones. It wasn't. So, as soon as they're done, they go and deliberate. They, give everyone points and take points away from my team because we don't deserve them. And then the part that everyone's waiting for, the prizes. They had some awesome prizes. I think Galaxy Note 4s with a case. That's awesome. They gave away a bunch of Chromecasts, a bunch of Google Play money. Sounds really awesome, but I wouldn't know because I didn't get it. They gave everyone who went an Android TV, an ADT1. They're really cool. I took mine to work to show it off because all my coworkers are Apple guys. I can't get them to see the light. Alright, so that was basically the end of the day. It was fun, and it was $20, and we got 3 meals, an entire date. This is worth of entertainment, prizes, and swag. It was definitely worth the $20. Parking at USC was worth $20. So a huge thank you to GDG LA, it's Matt and Paul and Gerard, to Google and Victorious for sponsoring it and helping out with everything that they did. It's amazing. It was a great event. So thank you.
Alright, so there's still some pizza. Please take it. There's also some donuts that Sam brought. Thank you. Okay, so next we have a talk from Brando and Tebow about testing Android. They're both from Full Screen Inc. It's an LA-based company, and